Why the hell does this green-haired prick want to turn this lolly nun into a vampire? Let's cover the entire Deep Blood arc from Index, from start to finish, from how it's portrayed in the light novels instead of the anime, which made a number of important changes. Let's explain what the hell happened in the Deep Blood arc. We begin as Touma now has lost his memories from the previous arc as he tries to adjust to life as a new person, with him now taking care of the girl called Index from the Anglican church who he recently saved. Touma and Index bump into Aogami Pierce, who Touma doesn't remember, despite this guy being the biggest degen in history. The three visit Not McDonald's, where they bump into a mysterious girl in a shrine maiden costume named Himigami Isa. Meanwhile, the Anglican magician Style Magnus visits the board chairman and leader of Academy City, simply known as Aleister, who informs Style that an Esper known as Deep Blood has the power to kill vampires, supernatural creatures who look identical to humans, who of course drink the blood of their victims and are apparently as strong as saints like Kanzaki. Luckily, these vampires aren't the ones that sparkle. But even in the magic side, the existence of vampires have always been disputed, with the rumors of Deep Blood being the only potential factor to prove that they are real. And a member of the magic side has infiltrated Academy City in order to capture Deep Blood for whatever reason. Maybe he's just a huge fan of Twilight. And this magician is now camping in Misawa Cram School and is using the teachers and students who belong to a science-worshipping cult as hostages. As this predicament could escalate into a war between magic and science, Aleister allows Style to stop the enemy magician, but he's got a partner with Touma as his Imagine Breaker power would be pretty useful for this. And because he's a level 0, Touma's not that important anyway, right? Back to Not McDonald's, as some shady men in suits arrive to take Isa away, who she claims are her cram school teachers. I don't know, Chief. That looks pretty sus to me. Touma and Index then say goodbye to Degen Blau, as they then stumble across a cat in a box, which definitely isn't a Schrodinger's reference. Index then decides to adopt the stray, adding to Touma's misfortune as he now has two mouths to feed other than himself, as Index names the calico cat Sphinx. Ironically, male calico cats are apparently rare as which now makes Touma lucky, I guess. Then Index notices an enemy magician is approaching as she ditches Touma to look for clues, as none other than the stylish Style Magnus appears in front of Touma. While Touma has no memory of him from the previous arc, he just acts like everything is normal because he be trying to win that Academy Award in this arc. Just you wait. After Style throws some flames at Touma for stealing his girl, he then explains the current quest concerning Deep Blood, who is being imprisoned in a cram school of science worship cultists due to being overrun by an alchemist. Not that one. And yes, if it wasn't obvious enough already, Himigami Isa is Deep Blood. Touma agrees to team up with Style after he threatens that he would take Index back to church if he refused. Cause why bother going to church when you already have Jesus at home? Touma returns Index to his dorm and finds an excuse to leave her there, as he joins Style outside Misawa Cram School. As they enter, the duo discover the body of a dying knight belonging to the Roman Catholic Church, and yet everyone else in the school's lobby were paying zero attention to the bloody corpse in plain sight. This is due to the magic barrier or seal covering the school, separating the space along with the people and objects belonging to the school from any intruders who enter, unable to interact with each other like two sides of the same coin. The two then head to the school cafeteria, where suddenly 80 students are swapped to Touma and Style's side of the coin, meaning they have been detected. And these brainwashed students can use magic despite being espers? But that shit is forbidden. They summon over 100 magic Hadouken balls, which get flinged at our duo, causing them to retreat. Turns out Izzard is using the students for a spell known as the Gregorian Chant Replica to increase his own power and it also allows the Misawa Cram School students to use magic themselves. After Style shoves Touma down some stairs and dips because he's a dick, Touma runs into a stray student who begins suffering the consequences of an Esper using magic as her blood vessels explode from within. As Touma tried to help the poor girl, he was surrounded by a vortex of the magic balls, believing this was the end. But out of nowhere, they disappear and Isa herself shows up, while Style runs into what appears to be Aureolus Izzard himself, wielding a strange golden chain as part of a spell called Limen Magna, causing anything that touches the chain to be transmuted into liquid gold. And this Izzard isn't even the real one, despite him believing he is. This Izzard is an artificial clone, of course made of gold, whose Style refers to as the Aureolus dummy. If you don't remember this dude from the anime, that's because he was cut out completely. Style manages to slice up the dummy with his flame sword, but the fake Izzard still manages to live despite losing 2 of its limbs, with the dummy then transmuting the floor into molten gold to make a hasty escape. We cut back to Touma, as Isa's knowledge of blood comes in clutch as she treats the wounds of the injured student. As they are about to arrange an ambulance, the dummy shows up, who has replaced his limbs with solid gold. The dummy then transmutes 6 students into gold, which really pisses off Touma, with the injured student saving Isa's life, as she rushed in front of the chain to take the hit, which again really pisses off Touma, as he actually considers taking the dummy's life. But despite the fake Izzard not being a real human being, Touma couldn't take the dummy's life, which acts as foreshadowing as to why Touma values the sisters' lives in the next arc, as artificially manufactured lives are still considered as actual people by Touma. But no, this scene was cut. It doesn't matter that the dummy was spared though, since Style is a big enough edgelord to finish the job by incinerating the dummy from the inside. How kind. Meanwhile, Index has had enough staying at home doing absolutely nothing as she uses her magic radar to head towards Style's location. Then Style encounters the real Izzard and gets wrecked. Index also arrives at the school in front of the real Izzard, who is happy that the girl he loves has come back to him. As yes, Izzard used to be Index's partner 3 years before the start of the story. While he technically belonged to the Roman Catholic Church, he wasn't happy that the church preferred power over saving others, so he betrayed the Catholics by working with the Anglicans by creating magical books known as grimoires and smuggling them to England, where he met Index and the two developed a friendship. But as Index's memory was forced to be wiped yearly due to lies from the Anglicans that her brain would overload due to her perfect memory, Izzard became desperate and went into exile, forming an ingenious plan that if he turned Index into an immortal vampire, then she would be able to have an infinite amount of memories, no problem. So that's why Izzard's elaborate plan is to use Isa to attract a vampire to him, so he can turn Index into one. Just how many simps does Index have in this story? Maybe Izzard just has a vampire girl fetish. Just saying. Anyway, Isa explains to Touma that she no longer wishes to cause harm to vampires since they are just regular people, not monsters, with Izzard saying to her that he wishes to use her power to help someone dear to him, while Isa would be given Index's walking church, the protective habit which would prevent her from being harmed and also deter vampires from approaching her. Well, too bad the walking church was destroyed by Touma. Also, you better have brought Index another pair of clothes, you greenhead perv. Izzard shows up to take Isa and simply tells Touma to forget everything. Fast forward, as Touma finds himself on a random bus outside the school, but he touches his head with a Magic Breaker to cancel out Izzard's reality warping spell, making him remember what just happened. Touma discovers the other useless Roman Catholic Church Knights outside the school as they launch a real Gregorian chant attack upon the school to kill Izzard. Basically, a magic side tactical nuke, which does jack shit as Misawa Cram School repairs itself like nothing had happened. This is thanks to Izard's replica of the Gregorian chant. He managed to speedrun to the ultimate magic of alchemy, Ars Magna, allowing his thoughts to be turned into reality. But before you ask, he can't just turn Index into a vampire with this, since Izard doesn't have the knowledge of what a vampire truly is, so he can't create one himself. Touma reunites with Style at the school, as Izard is confronted and told that Index was already saved by Touma in the previous arc, so there's no need to turn her into a vampire, meaning everything Izard has done so far has been absolutely pointless. Obviously, he doesn't take this news well, as Style explodes from the inside, and Isa is ordered to die. But I guess Izard can just bring her back to life whenever he wants, so it's no biggie. He then focuses his attention on Touma and thinks he has a galaxy brain moment, thinking the best thing he can do is sever Toma's Imagine Breaker from his body, leaving the boy powerless. Izard sure likes his foolproof plans, huh? While Touma loses his Fap arm, this brings his trap card, as Touma laughs like a maniac and goes berserk, putting on an entire act to scare Izard shitless, making the alchemist lose his cool and his control over Ars Magna. Or maybe it wasn't an act, but another force influencing Toma's behavior. As Izard tries his best to kill Touma, none of his magic works as he freaks out, thinking about the worst possible ending for him as Style and Isa are revived, and Toma's arm turns into a goddamn dragon that vores the alchemist. Yummy. But whether the dragon was real or was created by Ars Magna remains a mystery. Just kidding, it's real. Touma wakes up in the hospital, and surprise! After his arm was stitched back on by the Heaven Canceller frog-faced doctor, it started working again, just as normal. Weird. And Style says that Izard is technically alive, just that he's lost all his memories, and is essentially now a brand new person. Maybe he's actually dead, and Style was lying. Who knows? Anyway, Touma is harassed by Index and tells him that Isa is recovering in the hospital as well, and that the Anglicans will temporarily look after her. Too bad she'll never be relevant again after this, apart from somehow surviving being blown up from the inside during a Dire Seizai arc. Oh well. Thank you to my patrons for suggesting this video. Subscribe for more Index videos, and check out my other light novel summaries on screen right now.